Are there any continued reflections you would like to share with the group?
It's like you find it, you can almost like disconnect from yourself, like when you just really go into it, like, is this even mine? Like, I don't care. Like, what is this? I get really weird sensation from that.
Yeah.
I thought it was really difficult to disconnect, and especially when I was the one like exploring the hand. And I know that like our culture is really about objectifying and stuff, but I think it was so hard not to think about the subject who received and felt all the things and all the cultural codes, but not hitting people you don't know, and the difference between like hitting on the top of the hand and the palm of the hand because of the cultural practice of high five and stuff. Like really, it was so hard for me to like see it as an object. I thought it was really difficult task.
Did you learn something from it?
I learned that it was way easier when I was just looking at the hand and not in the person. Yeah, definitely. And when I took out the hurting stuff, or like the hitting stuff.
Yeah. So to schematize this model, just to kind of talk about how you might experience hitting the hand. On this level, there could be a sense that you're hitting an object, you know, just like you, yeah. On this level, which we'll talk about now, it can be more, like you said, your sense that you are hitting or touching another person, not an object, but a feeling, living body. And on this level, on the last level, you could maybe experience, and this level is like serious philosophical stuff, right? Then you are hitting the world, or you are hitting nothing. Make sense? Hitting everything. Or yeah, anyway, so that would be how I try to put it into words, these ideas, but the levels of this stuff. So yeah, are there any other things here? Because it gets mixed, it's hard, you cannot experience yourself cleanly as an object, and if you do, it's kind of a symptom of trauma, dissociation and so on. And so sensing yourself as a body, sensing into and acting through your body on this level is clearly where all of us are at. So on this level there is a subtle separation between mind and body. And it's a bit more mixed than you'll experience in your life, how it goes to and from, right? At some points we are dissociated. For example, me, sometimes when I'm eating and I eat fast in a sense, there's a time where I feel a little bit dissociated. But then at other times I'm in that and I'm moving and I'm doing things and wow, I'm feeling like I'm everywhere in my body. And so I would call this level dualistic mindful. Dualistic mindless, mindful. Because here we're starting to be clearly sensorially aware of what it is that we are, which is bodies, physical. Does this make sense? If you want to bounce off what I'm saying, please, share or something. Does this set any thoughts off, or is there more from the exercise you just did?
Yeah, maybe we could just all identify a little bit actually with being on all the levels, like you said, at different also states in life maybe, or like you can swoop out and be someone strongly identified with something because you got mixed up with something, and then you pull yourself out of this deep purpose that you figured was actually then not about any ways, yeah. So in different passes of life as well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think we all have this stuff. And for me, I think there's a profound thing to learn that you objectify the world, right? It's just, yeah, and how, for example, or however you experience this, you know. But I think, yeah, each of us will have each of the different things. Other thoughts? Or?
Yeah, just to build on that, I think, should there be an appropriate time and place to be in some of these states? Like it shouldn't always be where you striving to just be in one of them, as mentioned, for certain circumstances when it would make sense to be in one of the states over another.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think they have their usefulness and their dark sides. Here's kind of science and technology and, building things out of the world, I would say kind of,
I just thought about, when I look at the pictures, I think about it, there's something that makes sense to me because I feel that I can't do this separation. I feel that, I don't know, I feel that there is something between us when we're working together, and so I just can't separate really from that. And then I was thinking, it makes sense because I can't be mindless. Like, it's so hard to be mindless when you're told to be it. So I can't do the separateness because I'm mindful because we are working with something that you told us, kind of. So that's what I'm thinking right now. Why I can't do it, because I'm mindful and that's it.
Yeah, it makes really good sense though. I think also kind of when you're meditating, then you're literally gone on a train of thought and then suddenly remember, I'm supposed to meditate. You know what I mean? And there's that remembering.
Exactly.
And so we're doing an exercise now and we're all really in our bodies and thinking about these things. So there will be a strong arrow this way right now in this context, of course. And then when we are here, we don't even know it.
Yes.
Because it is mindless, kind of, or whatever we call it, right? Anyway, I've been thinking a lot about these things. So I put up the last one, no separation in the mind-body relationship. Empty self, big body. I have some really nice quotes. I'll just read one of them. The environment is not separate from ourselves. We are inside it, and it is inside us. We make it, and it makes us. Yanomami, Brazil. This is a tribe there. There's another really short one too. To wound the earth is to wound yourself, and if others are wounding the earth, they are wounding you. From an Aboriginal elder. And so that would be that's the big body concept, that the plants here are our lungs, and that the earth is our food, and so on. Like this transcendent, the self becomes bigger, or in many, in yoga and in Buddhism, then it's more this idea that the self is empty. So it's the self. I was also thinking Ido Portal, an amazing movement teacher, he at one point was rambling about something at a workshop, and then he said, if you have a problem in your knee or here, in your hand, then it's then you'll probably say, my hand hurts. At least there was ownership. It hurts, the object hurts, or my hand hurt, or I hurt, all of this, right? But then if it's your spine or your organs, if your back hurts, it's so much closer to yourself. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And then it's harder to objectify it. I don't know what you guys feel, but it's easier for me to be but if something hurts in my spine, which I actually have something in my spine sometimes when I do acro yoga, then it's much more I have a problem. It's not there's a problem out there. It's me. I'm suffering. Anyway, so that's how I'm relating also to where am I in relationship to my own body? Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, I think there's something about the visual sort of role in that when you can look at the hand as something outside of you, it seems distant, and it was easy in this exercise to sort of disassociate myself from the hand and sort of see, okay, there is something happening, but it's happening in this sort of space, whereas the rest of the space is here. But if I'm walking around and my foot hurts and I'm not looking at it, it doesn't feel that the pain doesn't feel distant from me, mm-hmm. And then it's harder to not see it as part of yourself and not see yourself as an individual in pain in that moment. Mm-hmm. But sort of having, and also this, you are prepared to, okay, now I shall do this, okay, now I'm prepared to be separated. Whereas normally you're not prepared for the sensation that will arise. And it comes suddenly, and then you maybe more quickly attach to it instead of separating yourself from it.
Yeah, I like that. Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I think also maybe to what you said, Esther pointed out that while I was, hitting her, that I wasn't breathing, and I don't know if maybe that was also just a way of trying to objectify myself, because I really didn't enjoy inflicting pain. So maybe like
You didn't
by
enjoy
take, no, of course, I hope most people didn't, but yeah, I don't know, maybe by taking away my breath, I also took away my subjectivity or my subjectness.
Yeah. You're literally stealing one of my talking points. Yeah, because I was gonna say, like, your hands, if the hands is objectifying or kind of, then the breath, spirit, inspire, expire, it is the source or the soul or the, it's the self or the subject. And we're going to do something around that now. And when you're doing yoga, you might have certain experiences of something in that direction, right? And we're going to do an exercise in a moment where we do something in the breath. And, no expectations as to where you end up, but cool that you said that. Because we can have a little more sharing as well.
It's just like I'm just thinking about that. A lot of things that something that has taken up a lot of space in my life is how to, because you mentioned like science and technology in the first step, but like how I'm a trained sociologist and social statistics. So like at some point in my life I realized that I was always there, like in the first, and then I learned about embodiment, that I had experiences in another sphere. So like how can I've been, I don't think I have cracked it open yet, but how to be like a scientist without having to stay in that.
Yeah.
Like how can I use my brain, for example, in a way, or not
so
objectify myself while being at work.
Yeah, it's so interesting. Yeah. And I think they inform each other, really. And so look at this. Anyway, because science goes up and down, right? So certain science, the hardest science, like physics, is really like look at the molecule, the smallest part, the realest object. You know what I mean? Somehow, and they are analyzing, breaking the world into parts. Makes sense? So on the little, I draw a lot of spots, a lot of like particles. Everything is particular, and then science also goes up and synthesizes. So it goes down and analyzes into pieces, and it goes up and builds bigger and bigger kind of abstractions. Makes sense? And so I think science, like for example phenomenology, Merleau-Ponty and embodied phenomenology is a science about subjectivity. And so it's not in the realm of breaking apart into many particles, but into building meaning or studying meaning. So science is both places, but I feel that I also wrote here think, do, and be. Make sense? And science is really like thinking, but you can also think about being, and so it's all like and be while you think. Here we are. So let's stand up. Then you can simply stop where you are, and then we do a movement with the breath. Okay? You can sneak peek if you are unable to follow just from the words, but you can close your eyes if you want. And so we're just going to breathe in and out, and the arms will do a movement. So as you breathe in, you can lift the arms up to around in front of your face. And then you exhale, push the hands forward. You can imagine like gently pushing air away. Then as you inhale, bring the hands back to your face. Maybe the palms coming in, like you're drawing energy or air towards yourself. Then you exhale, push air down. This is the movement. So it's a 4 count. Inhale to the face, exhale, push away. Inhale towards the face, and exhale, push down. Or float down, levitate down. So continue moving with your breath, and don't worry about anything else than your rhythm here. trying to fuse the movement with your breath. Tying into some of the things that were said, we cannot see our hands, but still we know we have arms and hands right now. How do you know that? And then we have this suggestion, or this suggestion by Peter, that there's a link between the air and the subject. So both your hands are maybe feeling the air that is here. And also you can even more precisely fuse the movement to your own breath. You can stay as relaxed as possible in the whole body, feeling heavy through your feet. You can also experiment with maybe doing a round or two, breathing through the mouth, or exhaling only through the mouth. So it's not like your breath has to be a certain way right now. Maybe you want to make a sigh or a little sound. But while still connecting the movement to that sound or whatever you're doing. We'll continue just for a minute more. You can be curious and take this in whatever direction you want. Maybe a final idea before I am a little bit quiet is to let in a little light through your eyes, but without losing that really inward awareness towards feeling the hands, even if you see them. Because on Rasmus's point, it's really interesting what happens when we open our eyes to that sense of being a subject and an object. Let's just take 2 more rounds. You can make it even more minimalistic and gentle and sensitive. And you can finally let your arms hang. And what do you notice in this moment? How do you sense yourself? I think it could be very appropriate maybe to, on top of this little experience, to maybe just go back to the partner you were with before. You can perhaps take a sip of water and we have a little sharing round where you just can chat about what you felt or thought. Thank you guys.